Hey folks, it's Harry here. Giacomo and Gus are doing some filming today. They're doing a Call of Cthulhu run through, and I figured I'd give them some space to be able to do their filming and everything. And so since my normal comic book store is closed this week, my comic haul video is going to be a little late. I'm going to be doing that on Wednesday. So today I'm actually going to just go out to the comic store, which is my not normal comic store, where I'm going to just pick up a couple things, and I'm also going to stop at the hobby shop, and I'm going to just take you along with me and show you what I got. All right, so let's go on a little adventure. The first place I'm going to start out at is the game store. So I said I was going to go to the comic store, but first I'm going to stop at the game store. I just remembered that I needed to get some Sterling mud for my bases, so I'm going to go pick that up. So we'll just go ahead and take a walk outside. And this is our local game store, Tiger's Eye Games. They're pretty cool. I'm not actually going to bother bringing you guys in. It's basically just looks like a hobby store, and I also don't want to make a huge fuss of doing some filming and everything. Maybe another day if you guys really want to see it, but yeah, so I'll meet you when I get out. And we are successful. I've stopped at the game store, sorry about that, and got what I was looking for. So thing number one, got this Sterling Sterling mud. It's the mud base that I use for all of my bases. It's the mud technical paint, rather, that I use for all of my bases for the Death Guard and the Space Wolves. So the Death Guard, I'll use that, and I'll do a yellow dry brush over it, and I'll do some Nurgle's Rot to make little pools of goo and gross. And for the Space Wolves, I'll dry brush some of the Ultharan Gray, and then I'll do the Valhallan Blizzard on top of it to give it sort of like a frozen and then snowy texture. So now that we did the game store stop, I'm going to go ahead and get the car going, and we're going to go to the comic store. One of the things I always notice when I go to the game store is the actual setup of the plaza here. And one of the things that weirds me out, or I think's kind of interesting, is that this whole like vacant field that is opposite the actual strip mall where all the stores are. And so I don't know if they ever intended on doing more with it than they've actually done, but I always think about it and I'm like, that's kind of weird. You know, it looks like there's this whole camping area. If you've ever been the sort of person to go RVing or anything like that, then you would look at this and you would think like this would be the sort of place that people would park their RVs in for like a camping experience. So anyways, back on the road. we are here, and I am actually really elated. So I'm going to flip you around. You can see. So this is Rubber Chicken Comics. It is my other local comic store, and today they've got a sidewalk sale going on. So I'm gonna go take a look, see what there is at the sidewalk sale, and I'm gonna pick up the books I'm looking for, and I will let you know what I find. So they're doing some like 50-cent books, and some of this stuff might be really interesting. Some of this stuff maybe not so much. So I know Bad Idea, that's their local in-house project. So that's only the number 2. So it's number 2 I'm not interested, because I'd want 1, then 2, then 3. It looks like they have a whole run, but they don't have number 1. They got this Pirate Queen that looks interesting. That's 2 of 4. Yeah. Not really anything there. Marvel stuff, so Wolverine, Doctor Strange, etc. Not really into that. I think that this is Image, so I'm going to put you guys down so I can look through these, because this might be stuff I'm interested in. The Image pile was kind of a bust. There's nothing that I was really looking for. And that's the thing, when stuff's on sale, I try not to just buy stuff because it's on sale. I want to buy stuff that I actually want. So this is some indie stuff, which I like. But nothing's really jumping out at me. So that was a really good sidewalk sale. I ended up finding a big pile of stuff. I got the one comic I was looking for in the store, and then I bought a $5 trade paperback, and I bought altogether an additional, I think it was $12 or so worth of 50-cent comics. So I'm gonna head home, and once I get home I'm gonna go ahead and set up the overhead camera, and we're going to film a off the cuff. All of a sudden I got a comic book haul from stopping at the sidewalk sale video. Alright, so I will see you there in just a few. So let's just transition. Here we are back home again at the desktop with the overhead camera, hoping to take a look at what I found and hoping that it's all good as can be. So, like I said, they had a 50-cent per book sidewalk sale, so I went ahead and I indulged a little bit. So I have the paint that I got. It's already ready to go. That was at the game store. Got my receipt. So I spent about $18 all told at the comic store. So between the comic store and the game store, I spent like 20-something bucks. So let's see what I got. Alright, so first up, I got this trade paperback, Winnebago Graveyard. This is my favorite comic of the last few years. I love this book, Mark Millar. So I enjoy Mark Millar's stuff, and so having that little blurb out there certainly helped me decide to buy it. It just seemed like it was going to be an interesting read. So It's sort of dark and gritty looking, and it looks like it'll be something that I'll be into. So I went ahead and I grabbed that. That was like $5. So forget Stranger Things. The world of Winnebago Graveyard is the real Upside Down. An American family vacation turns into a nightmare when they stop in a small California town. Before they know what's happening, they've become the targets of the town's citizens, who just happen to be Satanists. What comes next is a wild ride of terror and survival. So I thought it could be neat. At least something different. So the book that I actually went to the comic store to get, Lonesome Hunters #3. I read the first 2 issues last month, and I really enjoyed them a lot. So I decided to get issue #3. So what's happening right now with me is I'm switching comic stores, or comic sources, I should say. So currently I have 2 stores I go to. One is Rubber Chicken, which I went to today, and the other one is Green Dragon. And Green Dragon is my primary comic store, where all my pull list and everything is. And I've had some issues with them because it's comics, baha. And I've decided I'm going to switch out, and so I like Rubber Chicken Comics a lot. They do a good job with their store. However, the thing is, they have so many back issues and so many sales and things like that it's really hard for me to not buy things that I'm not looking for when I go there. A great example is this. Like, I went looking for this one book. They had the Sidewalk sale, and as much as I said I'm only looking for things that I want, I started finding things that I was pretty sure I would like and ended up getting. So, as a hobby person and a collector, that's sort of the price you pay. So, anyways, but yeah, Lonesome Hunters. I started reading this last month, and I really like the storyline. There's this old guy who he carries around a mystic sword. It's prolonged his age and things like that, and he's sort of carrying on a tradition of a order that has been dissolved due to most of them dying in a horrible incident. And now he's in this modern age, and they've just come across this issue with these magpie raveny people. So it's been an interesting read so far, and again, it has really nice art inside, and I really enjoy the style. And there's that old guy. Lupe, look. So I really liked this, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. So this is the newest issue that's out. There's one more issue coming. So now into the stuff that I found in the 50-cent books. So I found this Maria, which I'm going to say Maria Jovet, because I'm assuming that the double L is a Y, like Yama. Maria Jovet Porcelain. So I got issue #2. I got issue #3. I got issue I believe this was 4. I think this was 4. No, this was 3. This one's 4. This one's 3. 2. I need to sneak ahead because I know that the other ones are in here. 1 minute, please. Just want to make sure I put them all together, because it would just be off to not have them all together in the video. So #5 and #1. Alright, so there we go. I should have put this whole pile in order before starting shooting, shouldn't I have? Alright, so yeah, so this Maria Lovett or Jovet Porcelain. I saw this cover and I immediately fell in love. It looked really interesting. I saw it was from Ablaze Comics, which I've enjoyed their Sumerian series. So I took a look inside. The art was really eye-catching. And the story itself, I have no idea what it's going to be. I have zero idea what's going on in here, but it looks like the sort of dark horror thing that I would enjoy. So I got number 1, number 2. This cover is really much more, this looks like more of an anime 1990s cover to me. And then they have sort of a like House of Horrors, Tales from the Crypty looking homage cover. And then this one gets even more Tales from the Crypty looking, which I thought that this was really cool. This is the first one I saw, and that really grabbed my attention. And I just took a look inside, and I was like, this looks interesting and neat. I need to have it. So I checked to see if they had number 1. They had number 1. And then I went through and they had all the way up to number 5. And when I looked at the end of number 5 to see if it was like the end, and it happily did say the end. So the next book that I got, or next series that I got, because I actually got a whole series of this as well. There you go. Chained to the Grave. The title was really, let's see if I can get the camera to focus. Focus, camera. There we go. So Chained to the Grave was a very evocative title, and there's like this hand down at the bottom here that looked kind of vampire-y. So, you know, I've been kind of into the vampire books lately, so then I looked at issue 2 and you get these crocodile men. And issue 3 has, that looks like Cerebus. And then we got this like pony with people hands. And then this kind of phoenixy looking thing. And I was like, I have zero idea what's going on in this. But when I looked inside, the art looked really cool and sort of stylized, and I thought this might be the sort of thing that I like. And then just again, the title Chained to the Grave was very evocative, so I figured I'd grab them for, you know, this is what, 5 issues, so this is $2.50, which one of these retails at $3.99, so, you know, it's a good deal. So I picked that up. I think that will be good. Now, as I believe I mentioned, Bad Idea is a local publisher. I believe that they're the in-house publisher for Robot Chicken, Rubber Chicken Comics. Like I think that they're the ones that publish their group stuff. Like they do what do you call it? What's the word? Looking for the word. Sort of like jams and things like that. So I think that Bad Idea is the one that publishes their stuff. Otherwise, I know I've seen it as a local thing or what have you. Anyways, so yeah, this was the lot, and when I saw these covers, I thought immediately, this is something for me. They're very creepy. On the inside, you get this nice stark black and white art. Everything looks very grim, and like, yeah, I think this is worth taking a look at. And I love that they have this New Line Cinemas homage on the back, and each of these covers just really are very interesting. They tell a nice horror story, and I'm gonna go ahead and assume that, you know, this is a horror comic and it has that vibe about it. Now it had a Paramount Pictures background. You know, this one just looks really neat. I love this gross thing on top. Bad Idea Entertainment. So again, it looks really neat, and I'm a sucker for horror comics, so I'm looking forward to see what those are about. You know, they definitely have a anthology horror feel about them. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about what I look for when I'm just buying random books. So, Wild Strawberries at the World's End. So this is from, I believe that's Source Point Press. And I've liked some of the stuff that they've put out. They put out the... You okay? says is okay. So, yeah, that's saying. So, SourcePoint Press, they put out the Winchester Mystery House comic. So, I just took a shot in the dark at picking this up. And when I opened it up, it had this very nice art inside. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on this. Yeah, I really thought it was interesting. And so I just grabbed this one just based on the publisher and the fact that like it really seems to have a neat feeling about it. And then the title itself, just the wild strawberries at the world's end, again is very evocative. It says something without saying something. And just this cover I really liked. So I'm gonna see what that's about. Next up, which was a complete shot in the dark, was this Boston Metaphysical Society. So, the Book of Demons, Ghosts and Demons, the Scourge of the Mechanical Men, a Granville Weeds and Nikola Tesla story, and The Spirit of Rebellion, a Caitlin O'Sullivan story. So these looked interesting to me. Number one, I liked the colors that were going on in here. I thought the colors were neat. And when, of course, I opened it up, the art matched the covers, and I always like that when that happens. And again, this is from SourcePoint, and I really like their Winchester Mystery House. And this seemed to really feed into the same vibe as Winchester Mystery House. So I decided, well, why not? Why not go for it? See if I like it. Because again, this is there's 4 issues, and so this is $2 total, and these are $5 cover price for each one. So I mean, you can't go wrong. That's half off. That's more than half off. So grab these, and I don't even know if this is a complete storyline or if these are all one shots, but I thought that they were really neat looking, and they all seem like they're sort of one shotty. So we'll find out more. And the fact, I'm gonna just go ahead and plop these back down. The fact that it's Boston, which of course is semi-local to me, I'm very intrigued as to what sort of stuff they have going on in here, because I'm wondering, as the Winchester Mystery House comics are sort of based in reality, I wonder if there's any reality that these are based in. So I'll find out more. I'll find out more soon. And the last one that I picked up, which again is a whole series. Let me put them in order again. Really should have did that beforehand, but I'm still new at this. Forgive me. The Butcher of Paris, based on a true story. So these covers sold me. I took one look at this one in particular, and I immediately said, "That's a large truck," and let him go by. I think that's the guy down the street that owns a dump truck. That's definitely the guy down the street that owns the dump truck. All right, it should be done now. Like I said, when I saw this cover, I immediately wished, I hope they have the whole series. And I started looking through. So they had number 1, and they had number 2. And number 2's cover is just as neat. And then they had number 3. And, like, how sinister does this look? This looks great. And I love the quotation of the Eiffel Tower with the curtains, and then actually having the tower in the background. And then they had the number 4, like, all right, okay, everything's going well. And then I was looking for number 5, and it wasn't filed in the same box. And I actually put everything back, And then eventually I came across number 5, and I'm like, yes, they have the whole thing. I hurried and I grabbed back the other 4 issues. And, this just really looks like it's going to be neat. It has very colorful, vibrant art inside. And, it just looks like it's going to be interesting. So it's from Dark Horse, and Dark Horse has a lot of cool stuff that they do. And this says it's based on a true story. It looks like it's sometime in World War II, just given the, looking at this cover and having the bombers in the background. It makes me think very World War II. So it's a period that's interesting in French history, and it's a period that's interesting in world history. And I'm also noticing this one has the Stars of David. So I'm assuming that there's some Holocaust flavor going on in there, which may be traumatic and difficult, but we'll find out. And we'll find out more. So, as promised, I want to talk a little bit about what makes me pick up a random book, especially from a sidewalk sale or a con or something like that. Especially when I say something like, I'm not going to buy something that I'm not looking for, and then I evidently buy something that I'm not looking for because I just bought something random that I know nothing about. So what I look for in random books is something that looks interesting, usually horror or supernatural. I like supernatural and I like horror stories. Those are my favorites. I'm not a big superhero comics reader. I do read some superheroes, but most of the superheroes comics I read tend to be like Astro City sort of flavored, where they have a lot of reality in them. So I don't read a lot of Marvel unless it's Ms. Marvel. I don't read a lot of DC unless it's Batman. Those are really the only superheroes I tend to read, and Batman's not really super. So that said, I'm looking for comics that have cool art. I'm looking for comics that have neat covers, names that I know, publishers that I know. And beyond that, the other thing that I'm looking for is complete runs or complete arcs. So when I looked at the Butcher of Paris books, I immediately thought, I need number 1 through whenever this comic ends. So when I had only 1 through 4 in my hands, I just flipped to the back page of 4, the last page that has anything on it, and I looked to see if it said to be continued or if it said finished, if it said the end. And it had to be continued, so I knew that the story wouldn't be finished, because if I'm going to buy a random series, I want to have the whole series, because I don't want to buy 1 through 4 and then all of a sudden I don't have number 5, so I have to go online to buy number 5, and then I go online to buy number 5, and it turns out that number 5 is like $6 plus $8 shipping. So now I've spent $2 on 1 through 4, but now I'm spending $8, $9, $10, $11, $12, $14 to get number 5, and no, I don't want to do that. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm always looking for full sets of unique horror, supernatural feeling stuff, and occasionally autobiographical, because I am a big Harvey P. Carr fan. I am a big fan of Daniel Close, and there's a couple of other autobiographical and semi-autobiographical comics people that I really like their work. And I will 100% walk into a comic store if there's a local store that has local books from local artists. I will 100% go in and I will buy any local books, particularly if they are autobiographical, because these are books that are written and produced by artists that are in the region, and they have really interesting stories to tell.
I really like the ones that you had picked up at Hub Comics.
Oh yeah, Giacomo, how'd the filming go?
It went pretty good. I think it was powerful.
Did you remember to shut off the overhead fan?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I don't think he remembered to shut off the overhead fan.
I totally did. We shut it off. I know we did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, that said, their video is going to be coming soon. They're going to have me edit it because usually I do the editing stuff. And that's going to be coming for October, for Spoopy Month. And I think that that's going to be a ton of fun when they actually get to play Call of Cthulhu. I got to hear a little bit about Giacomo's plans, so I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out there. So anyways, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this video short and call it done, because I need to be planning my Skull and Shackles / Ruins of Aslant game right now, because we're going to be getting together in about an hour and a half to run that, and I have to make sure I have everything in place. So I will have my regular Comics Haul video coming on Wednesday, which will be Wednesday the 31st. So I'm going to be able to go to my regular primary comic store and pick up my books for the month, so I can do my new books for the month. And I'm just happy that I was able to pick up A, Lonesome Hunters, and then B, to be able to pick up all those other neat books that I could show and share. So if there's anything in that pile that you're interested in, let me know. If you want me to do a full review, talk about it more, or anything like that, and I will. So from our previous Comics Haul, I know that there was some interest in Bloodstained Teeth, so I'm going to read through the rest of that series. I think that there's only a couple more issues left that are going to be coming out, and then I'll do a recap of Bloodstained Teeth once its full run is done, because it's I want to say maybe it's going to be like 6 issues long or something like that. So so be on the lookout for that. And again, any of these videos, if you see something that you're interested in, that you want to learn more about, just write down in the comments and let me know. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day.